This is going to be the second ECA review that we're going to do, so it's going to be more so graphing, and then we're going to throw a little bit from other chapters into it. Okay, so when I graph y equals mx plus b. B is where I begin, or the y-intercept, and m is where I move. Okay, so I got my y equals 2x minus 3. So I start at negative 3, and I go up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Okay, or I could go down to left 1 and connect my dots. Okay, and we don't have to shade or know if it's a dash or solid line because it's not going to tell us if it's an inequality or not. Okay, so this one I got y equals negative 1/3 x plus 0. So I'm going to start at 0 on my y. Then I'm going to go down 1 to the right 3. Okay, going down gives me that negative, going right gives me positive. So now when I go up to give me the positive, I have to go left to get that negative. And I got to connect my dots. And it's a decreasing line, so that matches our negative slope. Okay, so now we got y equals 0x plus 4. 0 times x is the same thing as y equals 4. Well, if we remember my little cross-country skier, why am I doing this? We're going to have to go up 4 on my y-axis and make it so our cross-country skiing is quite boring. Okay, you can also tell that this doesn't have a slope because I don't go up or over. Or I don't go up, but I can go over. So if I'm not going up at 0, but I can go over 1, so my no slope is going to be 0 there. Okay, so this one starts at negative 1 because that's where we begin. And then it goes up 2 to the right 1. So the up is the positive, the right is the positive. Okay, or I could go down 2 to the left 1. Down is negative, left is negative. 2 negatives gives me that positive. And I connect all my dots. Okay, so this, we have to use an equation. You can either plug it into y equals mx plus b and solve for your b and rewrite it, or you could plug it into point slope. So here's my point slope. We have a point and a slope, so this should be easy. So this is x1, y1, so I'm going to get y minus 4 equals my slope, x minus my x1. So to solve it, I got to distribute. So I got y minus 4 equals 3x minus 3. Add 4, y equals 3x plus 1. So I'm going to start at 1. I'm going to go up 3 to the right 1. Or down 3 to the left 1. And connect my dots. Oop. Okay, another thing you could have done was put a point at 1, 4, and then just done a slope up 3 over 1 or down 3 to the left 1. Okay, but I said find the equation and then graph it, so I wanted to know the equation. Okay, so this we're going to FOIL. So foiling is first, outside, inside, last. So for this first one, our first is 2x times x, which is 2x squared. Outside, so my outermost terms is 2x times 1, so 2x. Inside is 3 times x. And my last is 3 times 1. Okay, so I'm going to get 2x squared. We can combine these to get 5x. Remember, when we're adding and subtracting things with the same base, our exponents do not change. So that's my answer. For this one, our first is x squared. Outside is x. Inside is negative x. And last is negative 1. Okay, don't forget about this negative in here. So x minus x gets us 0. So we're going to get x squared minus 1. This next one, first is x squared, outside is x, inside is 3x, and last is going to be 3. So we can combine these. That's the same thing as 1x, so it's going to be x squared plus 4x plus 3. This next one, it's like multiplying the coefficients in the front. When I say coefficients, I mean the numbers. So 3x times x is 3x squared. Outside is 6x because we multiply. Inside is negative x, and last is negative 2. So I'm going to combine these, so I'm going to get 3x squared plus 5x, and then minus 2. Okay, so solve using ZBP. So I know I have to solve when it's set equal to 0. So what I'm going to do is set x minus 1 equal to 0 and x plus 2 equal to 0. So I add 1 for this one, so I get x equals 1, and I subtract 2 for this one. So x equals negative 2. So my two answers are 1 and negative 2. This one I set equal to 0, and this one I set equal to 0, so I subtract 1, get x equals negative 1, subtract 3, so I get 2x equals negative 3. Got to get rid of that 2 still, so x equals negative 3 halves. Okay, this next one's a little bit weird. These are two separate parts, so I'm going to set x equal to 0 and x minus 3 equal to 0. So I got to add 3, x equals 3. So there are my two answers. Okay, this next one isn't where I can set it up equal to 0. So I look to see if there's anything I can send back, and there's not. So I need to think of two things that multiply to get me negative 6, add to get me 1. Okay, so I know 3 and 2 multiply to get me 6 and could add to get me 1. So to be able to get positive 1 when I add them, it has to be a positive 3 and a negative 2. Now I can set these equal to 0. So I add 2 on this one to get x equals 2, subtract 3 to get x equals negative 3. Okay, this next one, two things that multiply to get me negative 42, add to get me 1. Well, 6 times 7 can get me 42, and I need to add them to get a positive 1, so I need a positive 7 and a negative 6. So if I set x minus 6 equal to 0, I add 6, so x equals 6. Subtract 7 for x plus 7 equals 0, so I'm going to get x equals negative 7 for my other one. Oop. Okay, so we just actually did this one, so we don't have to do that one again. I'm factoring this, so two things that multiply to give me 8 and add to get me 6. So we got x plus, well, 4 times 2 can get me 8 and add to get me 6, and it's not set equal to 0, so I'm not asking you to solve it, so this is what I would want. Okay, this one is set equal to 0, so I need to solve it. So let's see, two things that multiply to get me negative 56, add to get me 0, or add to get me negative 1, are going to be 7 and 8. Okay, but when we add them, we need a negative 1. So the 8 has to be negative and the 7 has to be positive. So now we set those equal to 0. Subtract 7, so we get x equals negative 7. Add 8, so we get x equals 8. So there are my two answers for that. Okay, these ones, we got to send this 3 back. So I got x squared plus 2x minus 12. So two things that multiply to get me negative 12, add to get me 2. Well, 6 and 2 would get me 4. So if I did 6 and 2, that could get me 4, but it wouldn't get me that 2. 3 and 4 wouldn't work. 12 and 1 wouldn't work. So if I can't think of anything, I could just use the quadratic formula. So I got my a to be 1, b to be 2. Oh, but we're going to use the original equation, sorry. Because then since I sent something back, it's going to change it. So my a is 3, my b is 2, and my c is negative 4. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So let's replace my b's are 2's, my a's are 3's, and my c is negative 4. Okay, so I got x equals negative 2 plus or minus 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 3 gets me negative 12. Times by negative 4 gets me 48. All over 2 times 3, which is 6. So x equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root. 4 plus 48 is 52 all over 6. We got to split it up, so x equals negative 2 plus the square root of 52 over 6. and x equals negative 2 minus the square root of 52 all over 6. Okay, so when you plug it into your calculator, you're going to do negative 2 plus the square root of 52, press enter, and divide by 6, and then negative 2 minus the square root of 52, press enter, and then divide by 6. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and erase this so I have room for the next one. Okay, so two things that multiply to give me 1, add to give me negative 3. Well, there isn't anything, so you're going to have to use the quadratic equation again. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. So a is 1, b is negative 3, and c is 1. So let's plug them in. My b's are going to be negative 3's. My a's are 1's, and my c is also 1. Okay, so we got x equals 2 negatives make a positive 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. Negative 4 times 1 is 4, and 2 times 1 is 2. So x equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. Split it up, so x equals 3 plus the square root of 5 over 2, and x equals 3 minus the square root of 5 over 2. Then when you plug it into your calculator, you put x equals 3 plus the square root of 5, enter, and then divide by 2, and do the same thing with the minus sign. Okay, for this last one, it's not set equal to 0 yet, so we got to subtract the 8x. So I'm going to make sure writing it in the standard form. Okay, so my a is 4, my b is negative 8, and my c is 3. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. So my b, oop, that was big. Is going to be negative 8 in this one and negative 8 in this one. My a's are going to be 4's, and my c is going to be 3. So I got x equals 2 negatives, make that a positive. Negative 8 squared is 64. Negative 4 times 4 is 16. Negative 16 times 3 is negative 48. 2 times 4 is 8. So x equals 8 plus or minus the square root of 64 minus 48, which is 16. So x equals 8 plus or minus the square root of 16 we know is 4. So then we split it up. X equals 8 plus 4 divided by 8, and x equals 8 minus 4 divided by 8. So then you can just solve those regularly, so you can get 8 plus 4 on the top, 8 minus 4, and 8 on the bottom. Okay, this one, you got to make sure everything has an exponent, so I'm going to distribute this negative 2, so I'm going to have x to the 1 times x to the negative 4 times y squared times z to the 4th. When I multiply things with the same base, I can add their exponents, so 1 plus negative 4 gets me negative 3. And then I can't have a negative exponent, I got to drop it, so I'm going to have y squared z to the 4th over x cubed. And there's my answer. Nothing can be moved, nothing else can be simplified. This next one, I multiply my coefficients. So 3 times 2 is 6. This has a 1. When I multiply things with the same base, I add their exponents. So 1 plus negative 2 is negative 1. And I got to drop it. So 6 over x is my answer. So just remember, you multiply the coefficients, add the exponents.